Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You are tuned in to the Status Network, the Lyve TV channel, and this is the Conversation Corner with your host, the author Andrew Snorton. And as we normally do every second and fourth Wednesday about 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have great guests doing great work across entertainment, business, community, and more. So before we get into our first guest and before we do our usual announcement, we've got an example of how far the reach Status Network is, and you're going to see a brief video where we were actually able to cover, that's right, minor league baseball. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this short clip which shows the lighter side of the game. And that was a snapshot from yesterday. As for the Gwinnett Stripers, who are the AAA affiliate of the Atlanta Braves, they had Education Day. So as you saw, they had a number of kids out there. For some, that might have been their first professional experience. So shouts out to the Gwinnett Stripers for providing some joy and fun for our young people. And real quick, just a couple of quick reminders in regards to staying connected with yours truly. Make sure to add Nothing Minor, 9 Stories of Faith, and Deeper Than Your Deepest Sleep, Thoughts on Love with Joseph Snorton to your libraries, as those are books written by yours truly. Nothing Minor, focusing on baseball. 9 Stories of Faith, on stories of hope and empowerment and encouragement, and to go deep with a little bit of poetry. So you want to make sure to check that out. And another quick reminder is on the audiobook end. If you're someone that just wants to plug and play, check out the Author's Mixtape, which is a freestyle poetry, spoken word, music, all that, and then some. And shouts to co-author Chris 10 on volumes 4 and 5 of the Author's Mixtape, available on almost 300, that's right, 300 of your favorite streaming platforms. And of course, if you or someone you know is looking for a network home, I tell you what, the staff here at Status Network, second to none. There are multiple channels, multiple radio stations, and yes, even a movie channel. So if you or someone you know is in need of these types of services, pop-up shows, pay-per-view, and more, make sure to go ahead and connect with the network at the information provided. And there you have it with our opening announcements, and now we're getting ready to go into our first guest. As we know, the school year might be just about over, but work within the Board of Education is something that is ongoing, and we're so excited to have none other than Dr. Adrienne Simmons, candidate for District 4 for Gwinnett County Public School Board. How are you doing this evening, Dr. Simmons?
I'm well, Mr. Snorton. How are you? Thank you for having me this evening.
Hey, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to join us. And before you tap into a couple elements of your platform, could you give our viewers a point of reference where you're based out of, as well as a little sample of your professional experience and community engagement?
Sure. So I am running for the Gwinnett County Public Schools Board of Education in District 4. My husband and I, as well as our 2 children, have lived in Gwinnett County for the last 10 years. I have 2 students in the school system, so I'm very much invested in the system. But how did I get here? So I actually grew up in Illinois, but due to the cold weathers, made my way south 20 years ago and actually began my educational career as a teacher here in the state of Georgia. And so I have been working in public education for the last 20 years as a teacher, an instructional coach, a literacy coordinator, and as a program manager for the Georgia Department of Education. So I've actually supported stakeholders across the state of Georgia in implementing policies in support of students reaching their full potential. And so in addition to having those various work experiences, I have a master's degree in reading, language, and literacy from Georgia State University, as well as a doctorate degree from Clark Atlanta University. And so not only do I have the experience to support being a board member and an effective board member, but I also have the training and the expertise to support our students in becoming productive citizens. So not just necessarily going to college, because that's not the goal for all, but entering the workforce and just being productive citizens is what the goal is for our students here in Gwinnett County.
And I'm glad you shared that, because you've seen through the lens of an educator, you have the experience of being in the classroom. You also have the experience in regards to leadership, in regards to policy. But on top of that, it's not that you're, quote, sitting in the ivory tower. You actually have living experience, because you have children who are actually going to school. So I'm so glad that you shared that. Walk us through your evolution in regards to what was the spark or that starting point, that flash point, that pivotal point where you decided to say, hey, look, I want to take my advocacy and leadership within, the public realm to an even higher level.
Sure. So as you mentioned, I have two kids in the system. I have a rising middle schooler and a kindergartner. And having served on the school council at their school for the last couple of years, and just learning more about the system in Gwinnett County and how it operates, and in talking to other parents, I did begin to experience a sense of maybe not all students being serviced. There seems to be a lot of emphasis placed on the high performers in the district, which oftentimes they're able to, increase the test scores and make certain schools look like they're high flyers. Our lower performers also get a lot of attention, and I know that from being a classroom teacher, there are a lot of resources poured into our lower performers, as well as our English language learners and students with our special education students. But we oftentimes overlook those students in the middle. A lot of times we would call them the bubble students. And so that seemed to be my experience with my daughter. I felt like she was one of those middle bubble students and didn't necessarily get all of the supports that I thought that she could. And in talking to other parents, they seem to have some of the same similar experiences that I was having. And so that's one reason that I became interested in running for school board. But in addition to that, it's broader than that, right? It's not just about me personally. Because of the pandemic, a lot of teachers have experienced a lot of hardship. Even teaching in the absence of a pandemic, it's a very stressful job at times, and it can be difficult and it's taxing. And so I know that teachers during the pandemic didn't necessarily feel safe at all times, and they went through a lot of mental health struggles. And so did our students. I've been attending the board meetings for quite some time now, and students have actually come to the board meetings to express to the board that, hey, we don't have enough counselors to support and to guide and to talk to us about some of these troubles we're having. And there are a lot of instances of bullying, or I just don't feel safe. And so these issues just continue to bubble up. And so it compelled me to run for office, because I am one that truly believes that as a board member in Gwinnett County Public Schools, we need to be supportive and advocate for our teachers, our learners, and our community. And so those are just a few of the reasons that I'm running. But I also want to emphasize that we have 20% of our students not graduating on time in Gwinnett County Public Schools, and that's an issue. And it's not just an issue as it relates to academics, but when we have students not graduating, what's likely to happen is that they will become a statistic, right? They'll engage in crime. They may end up in our prison system. And so when we're not focusing on our students successfully completing high school and going on to get a job or to go to college, that's not going to be helpful for our communities. And so ultimately, we want Gwinnett County to continue to thrive, to be a place of choice for businesses, for people to come and work, live, and play. And so if we want to ensure that that is the case and continues to be the case, we really need to start focusing in our schools and make sure that our students are learning to read in the lower grade levels, that they're fluent in mathematics, and that they are well prepared for the jobs of the future.
Wow, and I'm so glad you covered a good amount of moving parts, and not just through the lens of this is your platform, but it's really taking inventory of the landscape that's going on right there in Gwinnett County, and specifically your district. And another thing that I'd be remiss in mentioning for people who aren't familiar with the county, in no particular order, it's the state of Georgia's largest public school system. On top of that, some of those moving parts you talked about, productive workforce or viable options, 4-year, 2-year trade or tech school. Some people don't realize, depending on the research, within about the next 3 to 5 years, Gwinnett County is going to be the most populated county. So a lot of eyes are really on this county. And when you look at those two moving parts, as you alluded to, we have to, for lack of a better term, celebrate, embrace, support, encourage, and empower diversity, because that was one of those underlying messages. Could you go into that just a little bit deeper and just walk through, even though you've got the pieces of your platform, we have to look at the demographics within the county.
Right, and so the Gwinnett County, if we look at our student population, it's more diverse than it's ever been before. And we can't ignore that. And even in listening to the students share what their interests are, our students want to see themselves reflected in the curriculum. And when I say that, I mean in the materials that they read and study, not just thinking about matters of race, but in thinking about who are we studying? Are we studying people from that have varying perspectives from mainstream America? Are we studying people that maybe don't speak English as a first language? Are we learning about their accomplishments? Are we studying people that are maybe differently abled? Are we studying people that maybe are not from middle class America? And so oftentimes when we say the word diversity, people tend to immediately think about racial diversity, but Gwinnett is very diverse. Outside of just the racial composition, but in terms of religious and cultural backgrounds, ethnicity, language, it's a very diverse community. And it's something that should be valued and celebrated and should be appreciated and studied in the schools. And so we do need to be open to having a more inclusive curriculum so that students are engaged. And that's one way we can make sure students are coming to school. If we're meeting their needs and we're offering curriculum that is of interest, they're more likely to want to come to school and to engage. Another factor that we need to be thinking about is our workforce and wanting to make sure we have a diverse workforce. If students are able to see, again, and experience and interact with professionals that look like them, that resonate with them, research shows that those students are likely to perform better academically, and that they're less likely to be engaged in disciplinary incidents. And so whether that more male teachers in the school, perhaps we need to target more males, we need to target more people of color, we need to target more of a workforce that reflects our student population, so that, again, we're showing that we value diversity, we understand that diversity can enhance what we have to offer, and our students are able to connect and engage in a way that they are actually performing at greater levels academically.
Okay, and again, I really appreciate how you're walking through what some of those moving parts are, but thematically, these are some of the things that you would hope to implement. Let me ask you this question. Based on your level of engagement, awareness, things of that sort, what would you say is one thing within the school system that is going exceedingly well, but what's one thing that you'd like to see done just a little bit better?
Sure, I think, and I've met with constituents and parents, and as I've been on the campaign trail and actually I've met with employees in the system, and what I think is going, and what I know that's going really well, is the district support of its employees in terms of the professional learning and the leadership development, and just ensuring that the staff has opportunities to grow professionally. I think that is, it's a key indicator that that is taking place, and that educators are overall, I believe they're happy. I met a teacher that said that although the last couple of years have been tough, she wouldn't choose to work in any other school district and in any other profession. She is just excited about Gwinnett County and has loved working in the district and plans to retire from the district. She's been here, I think she said, for 20 years. And so I think Gwinnett definitely gets a lot of things right. What I would like to see more of a focus on and attention paid to as it relates to what I as a board member will have influence over. As a board member, we get to do three things. We get to hire and evaluate the superintendent, we get to improve the budget, and we get to create policy. So what I would like to see Gwinnett County do a better job of in the board is the way that we engage with stakeholders, with parents. Currently, at the board meetings over the last year or so, last 2 years, there's been a lot of strife. Parents have shown up and just expressed their concern over various things such as mask mandate. And oftentimes those board meetings felt like it was just parents showing up to express their dissatisfaction. And while we do want to receive that feedback, I feel that we need to put more emphasis on how we can implement a two-way communication system where parents are not just showing up to talk at the board, but that the board actually is engaging with parents, and that we're receiving the information, we're listening to it, but we're also sharing from our perspective best practices and wanting to see, well, what is it that we can do to address the issues. I really believe that we need to think about how we can put into place some two-way communication meetings, ongoing meetings throughout the year where we are working together as a collaborative and not just talking at one another, but actually engaging with one another, getting to know one another, and working toward a common goal, which is our students' success in the county.
Wow, and there you have it. And like you said before, it's still looking at how do we constructively amplify the best of what is taking place, but what can we do to make adjustments, especially as it relates to an ever-changing student population, an ever-changing, we'll say, makeup of faculty, staff, administration. But like you said before, we know that the community is evolving, changing, however we want to phrase it, and we want to be in step with that, if not a step ahead of that. Now, of course, it's campaign season, not just for school board, but just across the board. So before reminding people of the election dates, could you remind people what are some upcoming engagement opportunities, whether they're in person or virtually, where people can continue to find out more about your platform and things along those lines?
Yes, you can definitely go to my website, www.adriennesimmons.com, just to see where the team has been lately, upcoming events. I know that tomorrow I'll be participating in a league that's being hosted by participating in a forum being hosted by the League of Women Voters of Gwinnett County, and that will be streamed online. So that information is, you can access my social media from my website, or on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can find me at Elect Adrienne Simmons or Elect Dr. Simmons. So those are ways you can connect with me and to stay abreast of the campaign. Other than that, I'm canvassing on the weekends, knocking on doors, so you may see me in your neighborhood, and just looking forward to attending certain other community events as they are afforded, just to get my name out there and to connect and to meet our constituents. As it relates to voting, early voting begins May 2nd, and so we're really hoping that everyone gets out and expresses their voice this election. Early voting runs through May 20th. And the final day to vote is May 24th. So please, please, please do get out and vote. This is the final election for school board. This is not just a primary. There will not be a final election in November for school board. This is the election. So please get out and vote, express your voice, and make a plan to vote early if you can.
Well, I tell you what, Dr. Simmons, we so thank you for taking time to join us on the show, not only just to walk through your platform, but even just that reminder about the importance of voting and being as engaged and aware as possible. And again, run back the website where people can continue to find out more about you and your platform.
Sure, it's www.adriennesimmons.com. It's just my name. And again, you can find my social media links there. You can find a link to donate. We're still accepting donations. Every dollar counts and helps us to reach more voters. And again, you can see a calendar of events there as well as to where we'll be headed. And please join my social media also to stay abreast of all updates.
Well, we thank you, Dr. Simmons, again for taking time. And as we go to our commercial break, stick around as our next guest is hailing from the Windy City. So stick around right after our commercial break. Doing good, but doing it greater. That's what Crave Community Solutions is all about. Connect with them at asnortonccs.com to get a complete listing of all their education, press and media, and writing services. And make sure to visit them at asnortonccs.com/blog for great coverage of professional sports, community, and more. Speaking of connections, make sure to connect with the Alphas of Atlanta for their Alpha Derby weekend. Their Friday evening kickoff social featuring Slick Rick the Ruler on Friday, May 6th, and their main event taking place on Saturday, May 7th. Tickets are still available, so make sure to connect with them at alphaderbyweekend.com, and make sure to add Alphas of Atlanta and Alpha_Derby on your favorite social media platforms. And if you have a business, they still have sponsor packages available. Sponsorships start at $150, so get your business the exposure for the winner's circle. Speaking of winning, check out the amazing work of In the City magazine. Their current lifestyle issue features the one and only Kenny Burns, and they have other great coverage and more. We look forward to having them join us as one of our guests on our upcoming show. So that's In the City magazine. Speaking of yours truly, not only get the books, but get your merch. Not only the Author A. Snorton Origin Series t-shirts that you see right there, hoodies, and more. The best way to stay connected is add me at Author A. Snorton on Instagram, as you see in the upper right-hand corner, to stay connected. And if you have a business and you want to make sure to get exposure during our commercial breaks, make sure to add me at the information provided. Visit the website, email me, and we will go over all of that. So stay connected with the author, TV host, and speaker. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Author Andrew Snorton. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us again on the Conversation Corner. In just a few moments, we will have our next guest coming on. But again, as a reminder, as it relates to for those residents in Gwinnett County, but also for the state of Georgia, remember early voting starts May 2nd. And in the case of school board elections for Gwinnett County, you might just want to check your other locales. This upcoming election will end up deciding that. So as we get ready to bring on our next guest, as many people are aware, Chicago is definitely a wonderful space and place. There are good people there, and there are good people that are definitely doing good things. As many as you know, that is a favorite space and place of mine. So when we get a chance to connect with our colleagues up there, that is definitely a good thing. So in just a few moments, we're going to bring on our next guest. I'm going to talk with our staff. Staff, are we good to go? It looks like we're good to go. So we're going to bring on our next guest, who's no stranger to the show, as he was on last year and bringing about some great things. Next month, we have Devo Robinson of Devo Entertainment. How are you doing this evening?
Brother Drew, how are you, man? It's wonderful to see your face again. Everything is going well here in the windy, cold city. We don't know what Mother Nature is going to do. One day we had 84-degree weather. and now they're talking about it might get a few flurries of snow today. I don't understand the weather, but I'd be glad when Mother's Day get here, is because then I know it's going to start getting warm.
Well, here's what I know, and it's always good seeing you, good sir. Here's what I know. I love the city, but I'm looking at my weather right now. It says 37 degrees. I'm just going to leave it there. I'm just going to leave it there. So having said all that, before you share with us Unity Day Chicago 2022, walk through a few of your moving parts through the lens of Devo Entertainment, and how did Unity Day Chicago, for those who are not aware, how did it come about?
So Devo Entertainment, or I'll say just Devo himself, was a mythical character for quite some time. No one really knew who Devo was. It's just like the Bud Billiken parade. The Bud Billiken is a mythical character. I wanted to always stay in the background, but always promote events, adult events for individuals, for them to have a place to go, let their hair down. It's because you never know what a person is going through. You can be sitting at one of our parties and the person may be battling cancer, or they might just lost a loved one to gun violence, or they've gone through a major divorce. And so I always said I wanted to create a good space for people just to have a great time for that given moment. One of my hashtags on social media is "It's no dress rehearsal to this life," and tomorrow is not promised, so you must enjoy it as on today. So we can't talk about yesterday, we can't talk about tomorrow, we can only talk about today. And so Devo Entertainment started many years ago, and it has grown to something that I never thought it would ever be, and that was based around, like I said, events and parties. And it was basically really around the house music community that is really large here in Chicago. We all know that house music pretty much started here and in New York, but we take fame and claim of, the largest house music picnic ever with the Chosen Few that draws over 50,000 people. But that's where Devo Entertainment actually started at, and then we started doing things based around our beloved Chicago Bears football teams on Sundays, to give people a place to also watch the games and have a great time with that. And then as time went on, I started looking at things that I can do to have community engagement and work within the community, show people that, tomorrow is a better day. You have hope for tomorrow. And that's when I started the Unity Day community organization some years ago, and we gave it the hashtag symbol of Unity Day Shine. And that was always based around Memorial Day weekend. Once again, it started out with the backyard barbecue with family and friends and awesome house music DJs from the Chicagoland area that are known throughout the world that would come DJ in my backyard, in my alley. And I said, no, it's bigger than this. And when we started doing things on a more larger scale, we took it to the park and said, now we have to do something for the community, bring people together in unity. If we can do that, it's just like a family reunion, because we're all connected in some fashion. I feel like everybody's a cousin in some way. It's because our families all cross each other. Some are from, Mississippi, some are from Arkansas, some are from Georgia. They traveled on up here to the north. Some stayed on the south side of Chicago, some migrated to the west side of Chicago. And then you find out how you are connected through, last names, or this person knew your grandmother or great grandmother and knew that they lived on the south side, but they haven't seen each other in years. And so that's where the Unity Day community organization, or Unity Day Shine, stems from, of us just bringing people together as one big family unit, no violence, a very good time, family oriented. And then after we looked at it from a standpoint of just having a big family reunion, then it was more of how can we be effective in the community. And during the pandemic that the world went through, we continued the Unity Day Shy event based around Memorial Day weekend, is because that's when most violence happens in Chicago, on the south side and the greater west side of Chicago also. And we were able to do a Stop the Violence tour on the west side of Chicago. We had a caravan of cars and created this platform to just say, put the guns down, let's come in unity and save lives. Let's stop killing each other, but let's save lives. And we've done that for the last couple of years. Dignitaries of Chicago, the mayor has come out to our events, aldermen, and various other dignitaries that are influential in our community of Chicago. And we like to show them that we as African Americans, and it has just grown past just the African American culture, but we as people can come together in unity and have a great time.
And I'm so glad you broke down the history and things along those lines. And we like to say, you know, every big idea in a lot of respects started off simple and small. Like you said, it evolved from a family gathering to now how can we expand the meaning of family to incorporate South Side, to incorporate West Side. And in previous years, you have used this not only as a way for folks to get together, but correct me if I'm wrong, in previous years it's been from voter registration to, I'll say, community beautification to a little bit of everything. So this isn't just like, this isn't something random. It's almost as if you have something, it's growing, and you're trying to be a step ahead to identify what are immediate needs, or what are, for lack of a term, immediate conversations we have to have. So walk through with us, bless you, walk through with us this year's lineup, because correct me if I'm wrong, it's kind of looking through the lens of health and wellness and education. So walk through the particulars for this year.
Absolutely. So during the pandemic, me and my wife, who's an educator, and I'm in education also, we did a lot of walking. And then we created a walking group that we would walk on the lake of Chicago for like 8 miles. And we got a collective amount of people to come out and do this walking challenges, because you were gaining so much weight during the pandemic because you really couldn't do anything, go anywhere. And we was like, hey, we have to live better. We have to live healthier. We want to bring people along. Especially with our family being in the death-related funeral industry, we hear about a lot of people being obese when they do pass on. And so as we kept saying, it's like, well, what can we do different? And so that's why we started the walking campaign. But so in this year with the Unity Day Shine, it's tied around a 5K walk and run in unity on the health and wellness side. But then now we're tying in the scholarship side to raise money for students that are going away to school. And the purpose of that is that you have so many students that they lost a lot of things during the pandemic, and those 2 years set a lot of people back. And so some students are very nervous about going away to college. Some students don't have the funds to go away to college. And so we said this would be a great opportunity to raise scholarship dollars for our students on the greater west side of Chicago, and now I'm pushing them to start something on the south side also, so we can raise funds and help some student. We don't care if they're A student, we don't care if they're a C student. We just want to be able to do our part to pay for a book, a laptop, or whatever they need to be successful in their academic success and challenges while they're away at school.
Wow, and that's amazing, and it's so fascinating. You think about, like, and you know, we called it PE back in the day, but there's already like health and wellness in school, and you're using one of the more straightforward forms of fitness, walking. Now, I'm sure there might be a couple people that do the hustle, but but real talk, you're using things that are accessible to anybody. And by doing that, you're able to deliver a message that even with something as straightforward as this, it can get the fitness community out, the community that needs to be fit out, with the weather hopefully being warmer, to get out and enjoy some fresh air and just be out there, like you said, in a constructive, manner.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's we're looking for it to be transcending. We're looking for it to be a first of many that will come. We want to get in front of everybody before anybody else come up with this idea, but hopefully it will spark a fire in the community that other organizations will do the same. It's so amazing, Andrew. I just met with some of your Alpha brothers today in Chicago, and pulling them along. I said, if you're all about brotherhood, and you all say you're first all, and you're about scholarships, and you're about going to high school and college. So, and I even worked them. I said, and I think Mother Annie Singleton would, be elated in heaven to see you all join forces with us, so we can push our youth to higher education by raising some funds for them.
And you know what? That's just a polite way of saying, hey, y'all, this is an opportunity for you to not only what you're already doing, quote, under your umbrella, but like you said, the whole point of Unity Day Chicago is just that. There are, even though Devo Entertainment is driving the car, there's enough space for different passengers to help. And not only that, where like they say, where two or more are gathered, and I'll just say for a constructive cause, there are great things that can happen. So in addition to the walk run, what are other things that are taking place as part of Unity Day Chicago for 2022?
Well, the whole thing about Unity Day, Shy, it's just not about the Memorial Day weekend. It's really about the real preface of helping young men also, and we're not going to leave out the young ladies, but we know that the streets are winning in their educational push of grabbing our young men, and so it's us as the forerunners that we need to go snatch our young men and teach them the importance of going to school. We want to teach them the importance of, doing the right thing and being positive citizens. So it's going to be an ongoing push throughout the years to come. Every day, it's about helping someone. It's about, teaching someone. And so that's our greatest push with the Unity Day Community Organization, of helping our students understand there is going to be a better day. Don't focus on the streets, but focus on your books and excel in them. You will win a greater race when you attend school, finish school, and go off to college and do the same. If we can continue to drive that message to our young up-and-coming citizens, and then I think we will have a better platform for our citizens and our world to be a better place for them to live. It's because one day we won't be here, and it'll be up to them to push the next generation. And so that's my greatest push for Unity Day Community Organization continuously throughout the rest of this year of 2022 and beyond these years to come, that we continue to push our young students about their higher academics.
Well, one thing I can definitely say from not only seeing up close but afar is you are sincerely and genuinely committed and engaged, and the people that you have on board have that same mindset, and that's a key reason from the outside looking in why it is growing. And like you said before, Memorial Day weekend is the quote negative spike, but this is a way to provide a sense of balance. And as a reminder, like I said from the outset, regardless, ladies and gentlemen, of what you've heard or what you've read, there are people in Chicago, South Side, West Side, and I would go through all the neighborhoods if I could, but that would be a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But the key thing is there are people that care, and there are people that are committed, and it's amazing what you can do when, again, two or more are gathered for a constructive cause. Let people know for the run walk, how can people get registered for that? Or is it just come as you are and just be there?
Well, the key thing is that there's many different platforms that they can register, but the most important one is just show up. Show up on that day, show up on that Saturday, Columbus Park, 5701 West Jackson Boulevard. We'll get started at 8 o'clock. Now, we are going to still have the fun part of the 5K. There will be DJs there. There will be someone grilling for our participants. And so we're going to still have the fun part. So throughout Columbus Park, we're going to have DJ stations. So as they're walking, running, you may get house music at one. You may get hip hop old school hip hop that we grew up on in another. You might get jazz at another, and you might get gospel at another one. So I'm looking to have 5 DJs out in this park, and then once it's collectively over with, we'll just come together and just fellowship one with the other to be in unity. We're looking for the mayor to come back out, Mayor Lori Lightfoot. One of your other Alpha brothers, Danny K. Davis, Congressman Davis, he will be in attendance also, and many, many others that have committed to coming out on that given day. So it's Columbus Park, 5701 West Jackson, for the Unity Day Community Organization, #Unity Day Shy 5K walk run. Scholarship for our students. Let's raise some dollars so we can encourage our young people that they know that they have some people in their corner that's going to help them as they go off to college. Andrew, you know how much it cost for you to buy one of those books when you were at college. It was tough on you. That was a hard thing. You said, wait a minute, do I buy this book? Do I rent this book? And you want me to return it and I don't get my money back? That's tough on a student, and especially if it's a student who has never gone anywhere, has never gone off to college, have never gone to a different state, and now they're nervous, they're scared, their parents have never transcended to something of that nature, and now this could be the first generation of a student in your home that's saying, hey, I'm going to go off to college, and I'm going to be successful, and I'll be able to reach back and do the same thing for my family and my up and coming, peers that's coming behind me.
Well, I tell you what, as always, like they say, you learn something new every day. And even with my familiarity with the event, I'm still learning something. And on top of that, like we said before, your team, you're doing some great work. Continue to move forward. Continue to politely call out folks, because every once in a while we need that reminder that, hey, if this is part of your charge, here's an opportunity for you to keep that charge. So by all means, continue to do that. Devo, we want to say thank you for all that you're doing and making the time. And one last time before we go to our next commercial break, date, time, location, and how people can find out more.
The date is actually May 28th. We're going to start registration at 8 a.m. Columbus Park on the Greater West Side of Chicago, 5701 West Jackson. We're asking just for a $10 donation. You can give more. You definitely can give more. You can register in person. It's proudly sponsored by Michelle Clark, Magnet High School, Parent University, the Chicago Public Schools, and the Unity Day Shy Community Organization. So please come out if you all have the opportunity on May 28th. That is Saturday, May 28th at 8 a.m., 5701 West Jackson.
Okay, and there you have it. So we thank you once again, and we're going to go to our next commercial break. And we come back, we're going to make sure to bring all this stuff together. So stick around with us on the Conversation Corner. Make sure to add Nothing Minor, 9 Stories of Faith, and Deeper Than Your Deepest Sleep, Thoughts on Love with Joseph Snorton to your library today. Nothing Minor focuses on coverage of minor league baseball. 9 Stories of Faith are stories of motivation, encouragement, and empowerment. And Deeper takes a deeper look at the action of love. So get them on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other bookstores. And don't forget the Author's Mixtape audiobook series, including volumes 4 and 5, featuring Chris 10. It is freestyle music, spoken word, poetry. Oh my goodness, it is just amazing and a half. So download it from Tidal, Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, Amazon, Apple Music, all that and then some. Speaking of, make sure to connect with me each and every Wednesday at about 1:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Fast 15. This is our weekly live chat where we take a moment to pause, check up, check in, enjoy a short motivational reading from the books, audiobooks, and favorite books from my library and more. So check us out. Speaking of checking out, join me for the Black Podcast Festival in Atlanta, Georgia, Saturday, May 28th and 29th. On the 28th, I will be speaking through the lens of Push the Envelope, so make sure to connect with me today to find out more. Again, register for the Black Podcast Festival. Your hat is your crown, so live free. This is what 1820 Hats is all about. Custom fedoras for men and women, and with events coming up, you might want to connect with them today. So add them on Facebook, Instagram, and check out their website for their complete specialty line of men's and women's fedoras. And remember, every second and fourth Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, entertainment, business, community, and more. Make sure to let's have a conversation with your host, the author Andrew Snorton. Again, connect with us for sponsorship opportunities. Get the exposure. And, of course, check out all of our great guests and more. Thank you, and we'll see you soon. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight on the Conversation Corner. As we get ready to wind things down just a little bit early, just a couple of quick things to remind you of. Again, if this is your first time connecting with any of our guests, please do not let it be the last time to connect with them. We are so grateful for Dr. Adrienne Simmons to have joined us to go ahead and walk through her platform. As a reminder, early voting starts May 2nd, and then the actual election day is going to be May 24th. So as you see that on your screen, a reminder for the early voting period as well as election day. And this is again for one of our guests, Dr. Adrienne Simmons, running for Gwinnett County Board of Education, the School Board District 4, so that's Gwinnett County, Georgia. And as a reminder, you just finished hearing our segment with Devo Robinson of Devo Entertainment. As a reminder, the 5K walk and run is going to be the centerpiece for Unity Day Chicago under the hashtag Unity Day Shy. Again, it helps to register, but you can show up, register on site, and enjoy the great things that are taking place right there on the west side. And of course, proceeds raised will go ahead and support scholarships and things along those lines. So a couple last minute reminders. We are going to be back on air May the 25th, and part of it is we've got some business to handle, but another part of it is I have to give shouts to the Alphas of Atlanta who are guests on our show. The Alpha Derby weekend takes place May 6th through 8th, and a brother is probably going to need to get some rest and recovery time, to be honest with you. So as a reminder, we will take a break, and then we will be back on air May the 25th. And again, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for supporting this show, but the entire Status Network family of shows. We have fun here, we handle business, we've got great ownership, and we truly have a great team. And there's some other great creative people. So, of course, we want you to stop by here, but let's not forget the multiple channels, shows, things along those lines. Can we get that flyer up one more time, please, if we can? Yes, so as a reminder, as we gradually get ready to wind down, remember, this is definitely the future of broadcasting. So again, if you or someone you know is looking for a network home, there are multiple channels. The movie channel, for those of you that have done film, pay-per-view, pop-up events. So make sure to connect with the network at the information provided. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to roll out of here a little bit early. We thank you so much for supporting us. And remember, the next time we will be on will be May 25th. So I will see you this time next month.